Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever noticed that amazing feeling you get after you help someone out? With no strings attached? It's more than just a warm, fuzzy thought. It's a really powerful psychological and even biological experience. Today, we're going to unpack the science behind why doing good feels so good. No, really, just take a second and think about it. Go back to a time you helped a friend move, or donated to a cause you really care about, or even did something as simple as holding a door for a stranger. You probably felt that little rush, right? That warm glow. So, what is that feeling? And where on earth does it come from? Well, it's not just in your head. Scientists actually have a name for it. They call it the helper's high. It's that very specific kind of euphoric feeling you get right after doing something kind. But this isn't magic. It's actually a pretty complex process happening in our brains and our bodies, and it all taps into one of the two main ways we, as humans, chase after happiness. So, our journey into understanding the helper's high really starts with a distinction that the ancient Greeks made famous. Turns out there are two very different paths to happiness. Okay, first up is what's called hedonic well-being. This one's pretty straightforward. It's all about maximizing pleasure and minimizing pain. Think about eating a fantastic meal, binge watching your favorite show, or going on a great vacation. It's all about that short-term satisfaction, scratching an immediate itch. It feels awesome for sure, but it's often pretty fleeting. But then you have this other path, eudaimonic well-being. This idea comes from way back with Aristotle, and it's about something much deeper. This is the kind of happiness you get from living a life with a real sense of purpose, becoming the best version of yourself and contributing to something bigger than just you. It's not just about feeling good, it's about doing good. And when you put them side by side like this, the difference really pops. It kind of frames this fundamental choice we're all making all the time, whether we realize it or not. Hedonic happiness is all about the now, and it's often driven by outside rewards. But eudaimonic happiness, that's the long game. It's fueled by our own internal values and that deep need for a sense of purpose. So the big question is, how do we get more of that lasting eudaimonic well-being? Well, it turns out that one of the most direct routes, basically a superhighway to it, is through service. So let's look at the actual science of how volunteering builds a more meaningful life. So, there's this thing in psychology called self-determination theory, which basically says we all have three fundamental psychological needs: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. And volunteering, it just nails all three. You choose to be there. That's autonomy. You get to see the real results of your work. That's competence. And you connect with other people, a whole community. That's relatedness. But some researchers think there's a fourth secret ingredient: beneficence. That's the powerful feeling you get from knowing you are making a real, positive impact on someone else. And this is where it gets really cool, right down to the biology. That warm glow isn't just a metaphor. The helper's high is a literal neurochemical event. When we help, our brain releases this incredible cocktail of chemicals. You get endorphins, which create that feeling of euphoria. You get dopamine, which fires up your reward centers and makes you want to do it again. And you get oxytocin, that's the bonding hormone, which makes you feel more connected and empathetic. Our brains are basically hardwired to reward us for being good to each other. I mean, from an evolutionary point of view, it makes total sense. It's what helped us stick together and survive. But the effects of doing this consistently go way beyond just a temporary buzz. Over time, these actions can actually start to change who we are, right down to our core. This concept is so powerful. When you regularly engage in service and you really find it fulfilling, it stops being just something you do. It starts to become part of who you are. This volunteer role identity, as they call it, gives you this incredibly stable source of purpose, because that action is now totally baked into how you see yourself. Now, look, people get into volunteering for all sorts of reasons. For some, it's driven by deep personal or religious values. For others, they're just worried about their local neighborhood. Some people are looking to boost their self-esteem or maybe even learn a new skill for their career. But what's so fascinating is that it almost doesn't matter what your starting point is. The journey so often leads to the exact same powerful outcome: building a meaningful identity through service to others. So we've seen the deep personal benefits, but the impact doesn't just stop with you. This individual quest for purpose actually creates this powerful ripple effect that makes our communities and even our workplaces way stronger. And get this, the physical benefits are just stunning. Research shows that people who volunteer regularly have a 22% lower risk of mortality. I mean, just let that sink in. That's the real-world power of purpose and social connection on our actual physical health. It's wild. And this impact is so strong that the business world is really starting to pay attention. There was this one incredible study that followed new employees at a big company. One group got the standard training. The other group participated in a single day of corporate volunteering. A year later, the group that volunteered was twice as likely to still be at the company. Their turnover rate was literally cut in half. And why? Because it anchored them in a shared sense of purpose from day one. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds like a huge commitment, right? Like you have to sign up for some massive project. But it absolutely doesn't have to be. The journey to a more purposeful life can start with what researchers call microgives. These are just the small, simple, everyday acts of kindness, holding a door open for someone, giving a genuine compliment, or just sending a supportive text to a friend who's having a tough day. So really, all of this incredible science, the neurochemicals, the psychological needs, the identity stuff, it all just boils down to a single, simple choice. The only question left is, what's one small thing you can do to help someone out? Right now, today.